At the beginning of a relationship, there is often an intoxicating, can't get enough of each other phase, where every touch is electric and every conversation is a revelation. Hours are spent talking, sharing secrets as if there were only two people on the planet. It is an amazing, all-consuming feeling. But what happens when that bonfire starts to feel more like a flicker? When flirty texts about desire are replaced by texts about who is picking up groceries? When late-night talks are cut short by sheer exhaustion? When one looks at the person they love and feels more like a roommate than a soulmate? If any of that feels familiar, it is worth knowing that the experience is not unique. Moreover, the relationship itself is not necessarily broken. This fading of the initial spark is one of the most common and most misunderstood parts of long-term love. Many assume it's the beginning of the end, that love is destined to fade, and a couple either has it or they don't. But science tells a very different and much more hopeful story. The common advice, like plan a date night, often falls short. A deeper understanding is required. There is a predictable brain pattern that makes that spark fade for almost everyone. And with that understanding comes the awareness of a simple brain function that can be used to reverse it. This isn't magic or wishful thinking. It's a scientifically grounded concept that can fundamentally change how a partner is perceived, reigniting the passion that may have been thought to be gone for good. For anyone ready to stop feeling like their love story is on autopilot and to start actively shaping the next chapter, the following insights might be valuable. To get a spark back, one must first understand the science of why it vanishes. The incredible, all-consuming, can't-eat, can't-sleep feeling of new love isn't just a nice idea. It's a full-blown neurochemical party happening in the brain. When a person first falls for someone, their brain is flooded with a specific cocktail of hormones, and the main ingredient is dopamine. Dopamine is often called the feel-good chemical, but it's more accurate to call it the pursuit chemical. It's released by the brain's reward system when it encounters novelty and unpredictability. In a new relationship, everything is novel. Every story told, every restaurant tried, every little discovery about a partner's quirks, it's all new data. The brain's reward system fires off, hit after hit, releasing dopamine that signals, "This is amazing, pay attention, I want more." This chemical surge creates euphoria, energy, and that intense focus on the partner. In fact, brain scans show that early romantic love activates the same reward pathways as addictive substances. That's why it feels so powerful and at times a little obsessive. But the brain cannot maintain that level of intensity forever. It wasn't designed to. It would be completely exhausting. The human brain is an efficiency machine. It's built to adapt and get used to things. What was once new and thrilling eventually becomes familiar and predictable. The neural pathways that were firing like 4th of July fireworks become well-worn roads. The brain, in its brilliant efficiency, essentially registers, "I know this person, I know this routine, I don't need to spend all this energy anymore." This process is called habituation. It's the same reason a new favorite song eventually becomes background noise. It isn't that the partner is suddenly less wonderful, it's that the brain has adapted. The dopamine rush, fueled by novelty, naturally dies down. This is the predictable, biological shift from passionate love to companionate love. The fireworks are replaced by a warm, steady glow, driven by different chemicals like oxytocin and vasopressin, the bonding hormones that create feelings of security, comfort, and deep attachment. And this is where a common misunderstanding arises. This normal, healthy, biological downshift is often mistaken for a sign of failure. The thought becomes, the spark is gone, so we must not be right for each other, or we've just fallen out of love. The focus shifts to the little annoyances and the feeling of being in a rut, and that creates a negative feedback loop. Feeling disconnected leads to acting disconnected, which reinforces the feeling of disconnection. A story begins to form that the best days are over. But what if that story is wrong? What if this transition isn't an ending, but an invitation? The biggest mistake is thinking this natural shift means the ride is over. The belief is that passion is something that just happens. Like a roller coaster, one can only ride once. So when the novelty runs out, it seems like time to get off. But passion isn't just a ride. It can be something built intentionally, without needing a constant stream of newness. This brings us to a brain function that can help get the spark back. It's a tool known in neuroscience and psychology as cognitive reappraisal. Though it sounds technical, the concept is incredibly simple. Cognitive reappraisal means actively changing the way one thinks about a situation to change the way one feels about it. This isn't about self-deception or forcing a smile. It's about deliberately choosing a different, more empowering way to interpret the facts. It's a scientifically backed technique from cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, that can stop negative thought spirals in their tracks. Here's how it works in the brain. When something happens, for instance, a partner is scrolling on their phone while being spoken to, the brain has a lightning-fast, automatic interpretation. Call it a hot take. Based on history and mood, that hot take might be, "They don't care about me. They're bored with me." That thought instantly triggers the amygdala, the brain's emotional alarm system, which floods the body with hurt, anger, and insecurity. This emotional reaction then reinforces the initial negative thought, digging deeper into that feeling of disconnection. Cognitive reappraisal is the process of stepping in before that emotional spiral takes hold. It involves using the prefrontal cortex, the logical CEO part of the brain, to calm down the panicked amygdala. One can consciously hit pause on the automatic thought and ask, "Is there another way to see this?" Instead of, "They're ignoring me because they don't care," a conscious reframe could be, "They look exhausted. They've had a brutal day and are just trying to zone out for a minute." Or, "This is a bad habit we've both slipped into." Perhaps a moment of connection can be created instead of getting upset. The situation hasn't changed. The partner is still on their phone, but by changing the story told about it, the emotional response changes completely. One goes from being a passive victim of their feelings to an active problem solver. It is literally one part of the brain calming another. This is the trick. The fading spark isn't just about a lack of novelty, it's about the cognitive narrowing that happens over years. Mental shortcuts develop. The brain creates a fixed snapshot of a partner, and one stops seeing the actual person in front of them. What is seen is only the person who always leaves their socks on the floor. Operations are run from a script of old frustrations and assumptions. This automatic negative framing kills curiosity, and without curiosity, there can be no spark. Cognitive reappraisal is the act of intentionally throwing that old script out the window. It's choosing to see a partner with fresh eyes, not by pretending they're a stranger, but by deliberately looking for the good and reframing the negatives. Research consistently shows that people who regularly use cognitive reappraisal report higher relationship satisfaction, more positive emotions, and better mental health. It's a skill, and the more it's practiced, the stronger it gets. The brain is, quite literally, being rewired to see the love that's already there. Knowing what cognitive reappraisal is one thing. Actually using it when feeling annoyed or disconnected is another. It isn't a one-and-done fix, it's a practice. The more it's done, the easier it becomes. The process can be understood as a sequence of internal observations. The first part of the sequence is awareness, catching the negative thought in the act. This requires a bit of mindfulness. Consider a classic scenario. It's Friday night. Hopes were for a nice, connecting evening, but a partner is quiet and seems miles away. That familiar pang of disappointment is felt. At that moment, a pause is possible. Instead of immediately becoming huffy or withdrawn, one can become a detective of their own mind, asking, "What is this feeling? And what was the exact thought that just flashed through the mind?" The automatic thought might be something like, "Here we go again. They don't want to connect. We're just boring now." The passion is officially dead. That is the automatic appraisal, the story the brain served up on autopilot. Just noticing it without judgment is a significant step. The feedback loop has been caught at the source. Next, after catching the thought, it can be examined. These automatic thoughts are often filled with cognitive distortions, common patterns of irrational thinking. The goal is to see the thought for what it is, a biased opinion, not a hard fact. Looking at the example, "They don't want to connect with me anymore. We've become so boring." The passion is completely dead. The distortions here include mind reading, acting as if one knows exactly what the partner is thinking, catastrophizing, jumping to the absolute worst conclusion, such as passion being completely dead, and overgeneralization, taking one quiet night and turning it into a final verdict on the entire relationship. By naming the distortions, distance is created. It becomes clear the brain served up a skewed headline, not the full story. This drains the thought of its emotional power. The main event of this process is to consciously create alternative interpretations, ones that are more balanced, constructive, and compassionate. This isn't about making excuses for bad behavior. It's about choosing a perspective that opens the door to connection instead of slamming it shut. For the original thought, some reframes could be the empathy angle. They look wiped. It's been a crazy week for them at work. Their quietness probably has zero to do with me and everything to do with needing to recharge. How can I be a safe harbor for them right now? The opportunity angle. Okay, we've slipped into a quiet rut tonight. That feels a little lonely, but this is a chance to take the lead. Instead of waiting for them to read my mind, Maybe I'll suggest we put on some music or just ask about the best part of their day. Or the big picture angle. The honeymoon intensity isn't here tonight, and that's okay. It's normal. This quiet security is something we never had in the beginning. This is an evolution, not a failure. The shift is palpable, the situation is identical, but the emotional outcome is completely different. The first thought leads to resentment. The reframes lead to empathy, action, and gratitude. Control of the story has been taken back. This is the work, an internal shift from pointing a finger to opening one's mind. It's trading the story of, my relationship is failing for my relationship is evolving, and I have the power to shape where it goes next. This process takes practice. It is a skill built over time, and simply understanding it is the first major step. Reflecting on this process can be a helpful exercise for anyone. One question that arises is, what's one small reframe that could be applied in a relationship in a given week? Considering such ideas can be an illuminating journey. The science of better relationships is a field of constant discovery. For decades, we've been influenced by a romantic myth that love is a magical fire that either burns on its own or burns out. We have been conditioned to be passengers, hoping the feeling lasts. But the science of the brain tells a far more empowering story. The truth is that initial novelty-fueled spark is supposed to fade. It's a biological handoff from infatuation to attachment, a sign that a relationship is maturing, not failing. The great tragedy is that so many couples get to this point and think the story is over. They don't realize they've just finished the prologue. The real story, the one of deep, intentional, lasting love, is just getting started. The brain tool of cognitive reappraisal is the pen used to write that story. It is the conscious choice to stop being a victim of automatic thoughts and become the author of one's reality. It is the practice of looking at the person known for years and choosing again and again to see them with curiosity. It's reframing the comfort of routine not as boredom, but as the foundation of safety on which new adventures can be built. Lasting love isn't about finding someone who keeps a person in a permanent honeymoon state. That person doesn't exist. Lasting, passionate love is built. It is an intentional practice. It is the daily, sometimes tough, but always rewarding work of managing one's own mind, of choosing empathy over anger, gratitude over resentment, and choosing to see the good that is right in front of us. The spark doesn't have to die. With this awareness, it can be tended to, nurtured, and transformed from a fleeting flicker into a warm, sustainable fire that can light up a lifetime.